right, today. So today we do have a guest. We got Mike Wiles with Coast to Coast Lending. He is our in-house lender here in this office, and he has been spreading out to the other offices around as well. Mike also generates a lot of opportunities. Mike, we'll talk briefly about him, get into our agenda. Mike is licensed in like 8 or 9 different states, so he is marketing and procuring leads in all different areas in all different states, including the state of Florida. So he does have a ton of opportunities that are always coming through. But we'll be talking with him today. I'm going to share a screen. We'll do a couple of housekeeping items this morning, and then get into it. MoxiWorks. Jimmy's going to talk a little bit about MoxiWorks because it's a highly anticipated change that we're going to be experiencing. So starting October 11th, they're going to open up access to the management team, so that we will have access to MoxiWorks to start learning that. They've got 4 or 5 different modules that they're going to release, and they're doing them in a spaced out time frame. They're going to release their Moxie Present, and then what was the other one?
Moxie Impress and Moxie Present.
So those are more for marketing. So that's like sprays, flyers, things like that. They're going to release that first, get us acclimated to their systems because they all talk to each other. And that'll give us time between then and when they release the CRM side to make sure that we're all up and running. So tell us a little bit about what they're going to be doing.
So I will, to kind of give you a heads up on the training schedule, like Chris said, the 22nd is when it's going to go live for all agents, and that's going to be Moxie Present and Moxie Impress. Those are the 2 that are going to be launched first. And then later, either at the end of November or the end of the quarter, we're going to have Moxie Engage, which is our CRM. We'll have Moxie and Moxie Website, which is going to take over. Basically, that's going to take over Zap and Business Builder is what's going to end up happening later. Now, for this training, for Moxie Present and Moxie Impress, there are 2 separate trainings that you are going to start getting reminders weekly about, and also a calendar invite for you to be able to come in and do that. We will have it live here in the office, well, through Zoom, because it's Moxie that's actually doing the training. So it's to me a better rollout than probably what we did with Zap, honestly. So feel free to come into the office, bring your laptop and come on in, but also it will be all done via Zoom. And we are going to be starting on the 21st at 10 a.m. is going to be the first class, and that is going to be for an hour long. And that one, I believe, is it's one of them. I can't remember which one's which. So the 21st will be one for an hour to an hour and a half. And then on the 22nd will be the other, which I believe is Moxie Present on Friday from 11 to 12. So you're going to get invites. This is your chance to come in and do the training, or go online and do the training those 2 days. So when you get that invite later today, which you will, make sure you mark it in the calendar, make sure you put bells around it and it pops up, because this is actually, to me, an awesome move that we're making as a company, what Realogy is doing with
MoxiWorks is a system that's similar to a lot of the other high dollar, high paid systems that you would start off with, like similar to it. It's not direct comparisons, but something like Real Geeks, Bold Leads, some of the other types of platforms like that are CRMs that are built so you can market to them, market from them, create platforms, have a website, have all of that integrate the way it's supposed to. So it's a high value platform like that. So we're going to do everything we can to push this out and make sure everybody's following along with that. Will you click to enter, allow those people in? So we're going to do everything we can to get you guys engaged with that. We will set it up in the offices, so we'll be playing them on these screens. So we'll log in if you want to come in and do it all together. One of the benefits of doing that is getting around like-minded people, paying attention, everybody together with the same goal. You know, whenever you get that proximal relationship with people and have a sense of community, all with the same direction, you usually get a lot more out of something than if you're sitting by yourself at home, staring at a computer, getting frustrated because you are bored. So come into the office. We will have it here, but you can do it via Zoom. It'll be allowed.
So, okay, so I got the dates mixed up. So the 21st is from 12 to 1:30. I'm sorry. The 21st is Moxie Present from 12 to 1:30, and then the 22nd is from 11 to 12. And that is for Moxie Impress. Now, what are these? things that we have coming out. So Moxie Present is going to be taking over CMA Toolkit. Okay, you're going to be able to do everything from listing, buyer previews, whatever you made, and it's all updated in time wherever you're at. So you can either do it mobily, you could be on your phone going out and getting ready to do a listing presentation, and you can actually update it right then and there on the spot if something else ends up hitting the market or anything on the lines of that. You could create this kind of to me it's CMA Toolkit and kind of business builder with some of the things that it actually does. Okay, so this training is a little bit longer because there is more that you can do, and as an office and company, we are going to have some things already prepared and set up for you, so you don't have to go in and do everything. It's all a lot of it will be ready for you. You just have to learn how to use it and either send a digital presentation or print it up and bring it to your clients.
Let me ask online and in the room, why don't you use the systems that we have? Why don't you use Zap? Why don't you use Business Builder? Why don't you use Toolkit CMA? And if you're not using all three of them, just chat in a reason why you're not using them and why you don't use them. There's no right or wrong answers. Okay. I want to know, because these are going to help solve some of those problems. And that's kind of the point we're getting at. So chat in line, why don't you use some of the systems that are there? In a room, why don't you use any or all of them? Zap's convoluted, tough to use. We've used Moxie, so we're looking forward to it. Lana, why don't you use any of the ones that are there? I use most of them, but Zap is very frustrating. Kind of always right here. Logging in is always an issue. Only works half the time. Exactly. Kim, why don't you use? And if you don't know what any of them are, why don't you use them? Toolkit CMA we use, but why don't you use Zap, the CRM? Difficult to use. Difficult to use. Okay. What about Toolkit CMA, Business Builder? Okay. Any reason why you don't use them the way the way you should, or are you using them the way that you should be using them? Exactly. Right, so we don't even know if we're using them. We don't even know if we're using them the right way. And that's absolutely clear, guys. Same question. So Zap has a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues and glitches. Half the time it won't work on mobile, can't get it logged in. All right, so that's just so you know, the frustrations you're experiencing are felt across the nation. The people who have found the way to get Zap to work and who worked their way through all the glitches and made it work the way that it's supposed to are having tremendous results with it, and they'll continue to say that. But the majority of us aren't using it because it's been a problem. Yep. MoxiWorks is a much higher level CRM that was made specifically for you, the agent, to be able to use to procure clients, keep clients, get them onto your website, put together presentations, put together flyers, all from one dashboard that you can just literally one click, one login, one everything. It's going to be much more seamless. That way I don't have to tell, well, did you do this? Did you go to that one? Okay, let's go to this platform. But what about, okay, that's not there. Let's find it over here. We understand. So that's why these changes are being made. Trust me, they don't want to make it. They paid $150 million for Zap. They spent a lot of money buying Zap, the platform, and in our opinion, it was a bust.
So, yeah. Well, no, listen, like I was the Zap guy and I still am. And, I run into the same exact issues everybody else is. And I just do with what I had to deal with. Like, that's what we had.
Yep. All right. So we know of all those issues. So we understand.
Yes.
And this is the problem. This is the problem that we're solving. So Moxie is going to fix it.
And to give you an idea, like Century 21, Zap is still going to be there. Business Builder is still going to be there, but it's going to start to slowly be unsupported. And any new brokerage that comes into Realogy with Century 21 is actually getting put onto the MoxiWorks platform. So it will still be there. But right now, the two that we're focusing on, Apple's a big one, but that is not yet. That's not here yet. That will be the Moxie Engage and Moxie website. That's going to be later in the year. Right now, it's Moxie Present and Moxie Impress to get our feet wet. Okay, instead of launching all of them and getting lost through all of it, we're going through these two. Now, Moxie Impress is all about your marketing materials. If anybody has a listing that is still live in the system on the 22nd, probably the 21st, you are going to get automatic materials generated for your listing regardless. And that's something that Moxie Impress actually does, is when you have something that gets sold, an open house pops up, price change, or it hits the market, it's going to automatically generate materials for you that you can just go into one system, click on it, pull it up, and you're ready to go. And obviously you can make your own stuff too, but it's going to be pretty phenomenal.
Yep. It's not going to be like Business Builder where you have to pick the property, put it in, start clicking on things. When you go to preview it, it looks good. When you print it, the paragraph gets all off and the picture's not right and it doesn't line up and you can't read it. Well, and I'll tell you one of the cool things with it too that you can actually do with Impress is you can, and a lot of agents ask this, like, hey Jackie, you got a listing? Is it okay if I market it? Of course you can. Well, good luck trying to find it in Business Builder to try to use what they have to set it up. Well, Impress, you can have that capability. If an agent wants to turn it on for the entire brokerage to be able to get materials, you're going to be able to do that. You couldn't do that in Business Builder. So thought that was pretty cool. But again, look for all the invites. There's also some modules that are coming out. In the emails I'm sending, there's links for modules that you can go in and start doing some of the self-paced learning. It's not geared towards Century 21, but it's generic Moxie Impress and Moxie Present videos and training that you can do with some quizzes. So you can I would start that now for anybody that's on this call or gets the email. Start doing some of that, start watching it so you can learn more about the platform and kind of, because I think when we do the training, if you already have a little bit of that knowledge, it's going to make it a lot more rock and roll when we get started, to be completely honest. And then you can also get into Moxie Engage and Moxie website if you wanted to, but that's going to be further down the line. So again, Moxie Present, Moxie Impress, the 21st and 22nd. As leadership, we will actually be starting next week our training and have access to that stuff. And obviously we're going to learn through this with you and get you to the next level with Moxie. So what's the best product out there for you to use for these? What's the best product? What's the best system out there that you can use to generate marketing, to manage a CRM, to put together the one you're going to use, right?
Yes.
Right. That's the best one. Is the one you will use. Why? When will you use it? Why don't you use that? It's frustrating. Can't log in. I can't do this. I don't do that. I tried the training. It's not seamless. It's not an easy transition. It's not an easy platform. So do yourself a favor. Start doing the trainings whenever they come out to make sure you do it so that we don't have those issues. Because if you get behind the 8 ball, it's going to be much tougher for you to catch up. And you're going to be getting more frustrated. So let's start from the beginning, everybody on the same page, which is why we're trying to bring it together to get you in small groups. You all can help each other. We're going to start doing these trainings because the best product that you can use for any of this is the one you will actually show up for and actually use.
Cool. That's all I got there.
All right. For the month of October, Survey Eagle Property Inspections is doing a special for any Beggins agents. He's doing $3.99 full inspections, wind mitt, 4-point, and termite for any property up to 4,000 square feet. So $3.99 for any inspection for any of your buyers. It's going to include all of these. Very easy to reach out to him. So if you have a buyer who's kind of cost conscious, payment conscious, this will help him and help them get through and get all their reports. Typically, you're looking at probably at least $200 more for all these reports, $650. And Brandon is a supporter of the Beggins group, does a sponsor for all of our events and always wants to try and take care of you guys. Also, for those of you in onboarding on Thursday right here, on Thursday at 11 a.m. in the Sun City office, the Sun City location, we're going to be doing a re-engage and onboarding. This is open for everybody. We specifically just invited the Sun City team just to make sure that we can get some re-engagement there, to make sure that you guys, whether you're experienced or new, whether you've been with the company for a while or not, whether you know what you're doing or not, it's a good opportunity to get re-engaged with our platform. We're actually going to be using the Next Level Resource Center. We have the whole system set up in there to be able to start walking through your onboarding to make sure everything is good, walk you through all of our systems, processes, and tools. So if you don't have a good engagement with that and you're not sure exactly what to do, when to do, or you want to just re-engage with things, show up at 11 a.m. on Thursday in the Sun City Center office. Brandon will also be providing lunch. So there will be lunch provided that day. So we'll drop it off and we'll have some of these flyers again just to promote that special. If you have any buyers that are looking for that, I did send this out at the end of last week as well. Any open houses? I know most of you or a lot of you saw the email that I sent out last week. That is a Google Sheet and you have full access to it any given time. So if I come here to my 9 dots and I click on Sheets, your sheets are going to show up. Open house availability sign up sheet. It will always be there. It has been shared to you. It is a document that you have full editing rights of. Now, when you click on that, there's going to be the properties listed here. Just make sure that on Monday, I typically go in and delete everything from the previous week, reach out to the agent who had the listing on there. Is that still available? Do you want to leave it on there? And if it's not, I'll take it off. If you have a listing that you want to hold open or you want someone to hold open, put it on here. Put the property address, the dates and times that you want it available for someone to hold it open, and then put your contact information here. This is just a way that we can get more opportunities. Number one, for you if you don't want to hold it open. Number two, for an agent who wants to hold open houses. Saturday, Sunday, and then weekday. Because I know in a lot of areas, some people will hold them open during the week. Date, time, availability. Go ahead and put that on here. If you are claiming one, go ahead and type in the time that you're going to hold it. If it says from 1 to 4, then just leave that available there. Type your name in here that you're going to claim it. Your job is then to follow these instructions as a listing agent or a buyer's agent. Call the listing agent, verify the availability, verify that you can hold it open for them, and then send an email to listings@c21be.com to have them schedule it. They will put it on MLS and everywhere else. Okay? Pretty simple for now. So you all have access to this right now. You can go on and you can log in and put this in here right now. So it's an accessible Google Sheet shared form. I typically will reshare it every single week just to remind you if you have a property you want to hold open, you can claim one, or if you have a property you want held open, you can put it on there. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me. Just reminders coming up this month, FBI building inspectors are doing a mammography, mammo bus, 3D mammo bus, October 27th from 8:30 to 2:30. I forgot to send this out this last week. Can you send this out? Do you have this flyer? I'll send it to you. We'll get this flyer out to you today as a reminder, just to go ahead online and schedule your slots if you would like that. It's a great way to support the community. It'll be here in the Apollo Beach parking lot, so you can sign up for that and get one of your slots that are open there. Coming up again in October, we have a golf tournament and a spooky Halloween event night. So Friday the 22nd and Saturday the 23rd. Friday the 22nd, there's going to be a costume party and food trucks out at Summerfield Golf Course. And then at night, the next day, there's going to be a golf tournament. It's a great way for you to get engaged again, networking, talking to people. Also, Friday the 22nd in the afternoon, we're going to do a trunk or treat here in the parking lot, which we'll be getting you more information about that. We mentioned this last week. Got to get rid of that. And that's it for now. So we're going to go. Would you mind grab Mike? Tell Mike we are ready for him. So Mike Wiles with Coast to Coast Lending is going to come in. And would you like to pitch a listing for Brian and I? Nancy, go ahead and you can unmute yourself and you can pitch that listing while we wait for Mike to come over. What do you got for us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We have a waterfront pool home on Wisteria Lane that went live last week. I think it went live Friday afternoon. It's approximately 1,600 and something square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, Apple home. It's a great home. It needs updating inside. He's done everything on the outside as far as a new corrugated seawall. He had the dock resurfaced with composite decking, 10,000-pound boat lift, metal roof 10 years ago. The train AC is 2007, hot water heater. It does have a hot tub back there, fenced yard, circular drive, and it is going for $640. Cosmetically inside, it really does need updating. kitchen, bathrooms, that sort of thing. But we wanted to get it out there. We do have an offer on it, but want to see if anybody within the company can bring us an offer.
It's the only active property.
A very large pool. Actually, the pool is one of my favorite things about the house, besides the neighborhood, which does not have an HOA or CDD. But again, it needs updating. It's an Apple house, so all of the walls inside are non-weight bearing. So you can really open it up if you have clients. It's not really an investor house because I don't think they can make what they need to make at that price.
Great.
Also, we have one on Blue Water, 1404 Blue Water in Sun City Center. I wasn't going to pitch that only because I have 8 offers and more showings today.
Yeah, so we can.
So, but if anybody has anybody for a single family pool house in Sun City Center, 1404 Blue Water is available up until 2:00 today.
Okay.
That's it.
Excellent. Mike,
Thank you.
thanks, Nancy. Is it green? Tap it. Just one other button in the middle.
All right, there.
There you
You
go.
hear me? Okay. Hey, everyone. I'm just going to go over this real quick with you. What we're seeing a little bit different. So I got my cards again today for the people who are here. So got a chance to pay attention. So we're going to give out one card to everybody that's here, and then one card for everybody that has a question at the end. And we're going to see how well you do. Okay. So I'm going to talk about condos. We're seeing a lot more of these. I mean, it happens. Whenever the house prices go up, people start buying more condos. I have a what we want from the condo questionnaire, and they're bringing me the information on the breakdown of what condos will work. Now, can we do any condo? Yes, but the loans are going to be less, the same person. I think we talked about this before, where people that, are priced out getting condos, they're going to have to follow the regular guidelines. If you have someone, I've done a couple loans lately where they have lots of money, they're buying their 3rd or 4th condo in a different part of the country. Those rules are different. Okay. But we're talking about the people that now only can get into 200 or 300 and to live anywhere where they want to be. Okay. There are rules, there are guidelines, there is a checklist. I ran into this. I just got a contract in yesterday from Naples, VA loan. We approved the buyer. We did approve the buyer for 350 up to 400. That's true. Got the contract in, and it was for a condo. And they wanted a quick close. And I said, yeah, we can close VA in 30 days. And those are the questions that were asked of me, and I gave them the answers. Didn't know they were going to condos. Wasn't told that, wasn't asked that. And then when they came to me, and I said, well, this isn't going to happen. What do you mean? I go, because it's not an approved condo VA, okay? And it's been rejected by FHA already because of high rentals. Not a primary, because VA and FHA not only look at it owner occupied, they want owner occupied at 50%. Not second home, owner occupied. Okay. Anything below that, you're not going to be able to get them approved. Now there are exceptions for FHA with a spot approval. It still requires the 50%, but they don't have to already be on the list.
Why is that? Why is it that why is it they get denied, or why is it that condo rejected because of the lower ownership occupant?
There's a lot of reasons. That is one of the main ones. The other one is going to be poor budgeting. You have that lawsuit, stuff like that.
Well, on the back end, why would FHA and VA reject something that has that scenario or situation? What's the concern for them if they did do a loan that had too low owner occupant and bad budgeting and everything like that?
Default stuff like the Surfside.
Yep.
I not too much, but I do know some attorneys that are dealing with that Surfside lawsuit, and they're talking about billions of dollars.
Well, think about this. When you fill out an MLS data form, or when you look on ownership style, you can own something fee simple. Condominium is a type of ownership. It's not the style of the building. You can have single family homes that are condominiums. You can have them look like a single family home, but the ownership style is condominium because you own that portion, but you also own a fractional ownership of the entire property, the entire condo complex. You own a portion of it all. So if you own in an HOA, you don't own a portion of everything. You are a member of the HOA that owns everything, and you own your home, your property. That's it. What I do with my property is my business. How this happens with me is all under my control. When FHA or VA has a low down payment and they are backed by a government, and the government says, if I buy that, you mean I'm subject to the other, let's say there's 100 units, the other 100 units and how they budget and how the association handles that, because we actually are, we're going to be owning a portion of the entire thing, not just the unit that you're buying. So if they screw their budget up, it could screw up the entire building and everything could get foreclosed on. Or the owner occupant, if there's too low of owner occupants, and let's say too many of those default, because now that's not their primary location. If this is your second home and something happens to you, something happens to your income, what's the first thing that's going to go? Your primary home or your second home? Second home. Same reason that vacant land is a much higher risk too, because what's going to go? The vacant land that you got to put a 10 on, or the home you live in? The vacant land. I'm gonna default on that. There's higher risk there, which is why FHA and VA reject more condos.
So I would go through on these condos. If you have buyers that are actively looking, the reason I brought this up is because I haven't done a condo in quite a while, up until last month, and we did 3 condos last month alone. So I'm expecting more of that. And you're going to see more of them. We're closing them. A lot of them are conventional. Conventional is going to be the main one because conventional allows for more. I'll bring the guidelines in here for you in a little bit. Similar, but they don't have to go through the long process. And the more down, the better. I'll have a website. I have the whole link, everything for you. So I'm gonna bring it in. It was printing. It's taking too long. But so you have the questionnaire. You have what's required. I gave a little cheat sheet for conventional, FHA, VA, USD. I would tell you that FHA or VA, unless it's on the list already, don't bother. I truly wouldn't bother, because a spot approval is going to be very similar. FHA and USDA, if it's on the list, great. Just like any other loan. If it's not on that list, it's not worth it if they can't go conventional, because you're going to be out. And I told the agent, well, it can't be. It's not going to get approved. I said, I'm not saying I know it's going to get approved. I'm saying we're not going to know for 6 weeks. Is your seller going to be willing to do that?
And then
best. And I said on the VA site, it says 4 to 6 weeks for approval of the condo, not the loan. And that was in the best of times. Big half these people are in there. You're talking. I said, I want to give you I won't even know that we can do it for at least 6 weeks.
And then for conventional, so if they can go conventional, isn't the condo association and budget and what you get on the condo questionnaire going to dictate if they could put less money down or have to put more money down too?
Yep.
So just because it's approved for conventional doesn't mean your conventional buyer can do a 5% down conventional loan.
Correct.
Or a 3% down conventional loan. If the condo association has other issues and that questionnaire doesn't come back satisfactory, they're going to have to put more money down. Usually, what do you typically see?
I
minimum?
see if it's pretty clean, looking at 5%, then you go to 10% if it's a higher owner occupancy. You start getting to, your condo sales and everything else, you're talking 20, 25% where they have to put the money down. It's just more risk. And then you get outside of the realm of conventional lending where they won't touch it. And you need, I have another package here I was going to bring up, probably not enough time today, of all the, we're starting to see more bank statement, state income loans, all those things. But it's only for people that have significant down payment. All that exists. It never really went away. If you have 30, 40%, you're going to pay 6 or 7%, 8% interest. But your regular buyer that is priced out of the market for the homes, you're going to need to stick to FHA, VA approved already. And USDA follows the same guideline, although there's not a lot of condos in USDA eligible areas. Okay, so I wanted to cover that with you.
Mhm.
I'll have a handout for everyone. I think I brought this up last time. I'll bring it up again. The jumbo is getting much friendlier. I just did a asset-based one. So if you have clients coming in and they have the money for these larger homes, lending can get much more friendlier. It's a lot friendlier when you have enough assets. So either they have a lot of assets They have the income. As long as their debt falls somewhere in there. And on the good thing with asset-based lending, if their debt to income ratio is close, if they have enough assets, you can offset that. It's kind of crazy, but like, so for every, they basically take 12 months reserves, takes away 1% of ETI. So if the max is 45 and they're at 50, they would need 60 months of reserves, and it takes care of the problem. Okay, and we can also do, oh, I just lost the train of thought. But basically, you take how much money they have, divide it by 36 months, and that's what their income. So that's a way of doing it. So if you have that scenario, I know people are coming in, maybe not. Well, we are getting into the season where you're going to have some snowbirds and all those things come down. Those type scenarios, we can do them, but it's tougher on the other side with less money because the DPAs are tougher to get qualified. I have another list for that as well if you want it. It shows all the 640s, all the programs, all the 640 requirements, and then you take the adjusted gross income for Hillsborough is 55,000. So I think we walked through that math.
The down payment assistance.
Yeah, down payment assistance in Hillsborough, you have to make 55,000 or less. Issue that we ran into, I think I ran through the math with someone as well. Once you start running that math, it gets to very small amount of house.
Yeah.
You know, because $4,000 a month, your max is 30. If they got a car, they got a $600 car payment. It's like car payments went up. I see people with $700, $800, $900 car payments, and like that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. So, but the good news is there are things out there. We are having success in those areas and other programs. I expect that they'll probably raise the adjusted gross income for Hillsborough. It was down for a while. They may adjust it maybe once, maybe go to 60 or 65. We're still going to run into that same scenario because the house it's out. Inflation's causing house prices to go up, and it's not keeping up. So I would say that becomes harder. But if you have a buyer, the good ones, if they're on conventional, we're doing a lot of conventional, a lot of different ones like that. The 3% is real. They can do 3% down. They can do 5%. There are lower interest rates are still low.
Can you talk a little bit about the 3% down conventional and what the qualification is on that? So if you have so there's a stigma with FHA buyers, right? So if you have an FHA buyer that's approved FHA, sometimes it might be a good idea to potentially look at a 3% down conventional. It might make it look a little better to a listing agent. You never know. But so what's the criteria?
It's similar to down payment assistance. The only difference is you don't get the higher rate. So when you do a down payment assistance program and you hit that adjusted gross income, what it causes is you get a higher interest rate if you take a down payment assistance. So if rates are 3, you're at a 4. The 3% down conventional doesn't have that hiccup. So basically you would have similar, you have to be like 55,000, 56,000, meet the other guidelines, but you're not facing the higher rate for your home. So you may slip into that one. And there's some incentives for that on the home, what they call Home Ready, which is Fannie's version of it. In some different census tracts around here, they're trying to get more development and they take off that limit. It's not a lot of them anymore, but like say when they had like a hurricane or something like that, you'll see the census tract that's been removed. So we were able to do it for people that made 80, 90, 100,000. Now, it's not as common right now in this area, unless there's some kind of event. But I want you to be aware of what's there when you hear it. I think right now we're hearing so much of, my realtor said this and everybody's qualified, or it was on TikTok, or it was on Snap. I was like, I don't know who's putting it all out there, but it's everywhere that these programs exist. And when we tell them, here are the guidelines for it, they're like, oh, I tell you what, it's 120,000. She wanted to do a down payment assistance. I'm like, you're not going to qualify for that. I don't know what to tell you.
And like Home Ready, you can't own another home or have owned one in the last 2 or no, that was. There's a lot of little things
on that. I'm just shocked. It's a lot of people that make $100,000 plus that want to use the program. And I go, it's just not designed. It's not. It's not. That's not going to work. So we are doing all that. Our closing is great. We are closing. 21, 30 days. We're ready to go. We, I have a buddy closing in Texas. I tried to close in 2 weeks early, and the sellers are like, "We're not ready." Yeah, I was like, because we were done. I mean, we were done at 20 days, the whole thing. So it is catching up. Our thing of doing trying to get you underwriting while we wait for the appraisal, order appraisal, all that's still the same. So as soon as your buyer comes in, we're doing what? As soon as it comes in, it's a condo. We're doing a condo. We're doing the appraisal. We're doing underwriting. We're going to do all those things so that day 10, we're there. You know, we come back with conditions, address those conditions if needed, and then we're ready to go. Marie came to me on the file. She said, hey, look, their biggest thing, they want to close in 21, 25 days. No problem. Let's figure it out. You know, here's what we do. The only hiccups would be on the review. Comes up with it. So that's it. Besides that, we'll be ready. But it just comes down to that. So,
Can you briefly cover USDA requirements?
yeah, for just USDA in general or condos?
USDA in general.
So USDA is pretty simple. So if you're doing USDA, if it's an eligible area, it's very lenient. Typically, you want to stick to the 30 plus 29-41. So 29% housing payment, 41% total. It's similar to the requirements for down payment assistance, except it never runs out of money and it's always here. So if you have a buyer, like, and it has to be the areas that, like, I said for a long time, they just changed it. So this little section's cut out now, but it's weird. There's like Gibson and, you know, out
Ruskin,
there,
Waimama.
and then Sun City. So
They-
let's say Mirror Bay, this Apollo Beach Boulevard and Sun City are no longer eligible, but everywhere else is.
They do it to entice people to move to more rural areas. They give them the option for a USDA loan. And if you have a qualified borrower who's wanting to do that, then try and make it easier for them to do that.
And so that's part of it is your debt to income ratio. The down payment system, it is zero. The funding fee is the cheapest except VA. So it's 1% to the loan and 0.35 annually. So even if you had a 700 score conventional and you weren't putting 20% down, your MI would be more expensive. So it is the cheapest option for those who qualify. And they can make up to probably, there's now the income limit's much better. So a family of 5. So like, you know, mom, dad, 5 people in the household, they can go up to 90,000 now in the household income. If they've got 6, they're probably 105, 7, 115. It keeps going up about 10,000. There are deductions, say for like elderly, a couple like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 here. They lower it, disabled, but all those options are there for USDA. So it allows, you don't have the income limit. The income's much higher than the GPA. Really, well, the good thing is you say it's 45 days. Now it's down to 30 because our lender is now direct. So we underwrite the file. We send to USDA. I had one back the same day. So it went at 11 and came back at 2. It was done. So I was like, so there's no, I used to say 45 days. I've said it here before, but now it's 30.
Good.
As long as there's no other issues. Trying to think of anything that's crazy that's happened that would be relevant to this group here.
Anything you're seeing with appraisals? Typically, the last couple times we've talked to you, you haven't been seeing a ton of appraisal issues, and if there were, they were addressed previous to the contract or on the contract. So, are you seeing any?
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, I've said this all along. The only time we get proper appraisal is you have that one cranky appraiser who's holding down the values for this area because it's not worth it. And I've been here since 1930 and all that stuff. You get that random person who wants to hold down the value. Besides that, most of them are pretty reasonable. I always advise people, and I did it for myself personally. I'll, you know, as the agent, I would pull what you came up with, all the houses that sold, and say, here, boom. And you can select the ones you want to do. Obviously, you know how to do that. I mean, Jimmy showed me how to do it one day, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Right. So you send up, and I'm not saying he has to take them, but if you make it easy for them, they're going to take it. You know, I would rather you take it. And you're right. And you have that person. I'm just saying, it's, if you, I don't want, I always say, like, you get a bad experience, you have that one, don't let that ruin it. In general, I see a really large volume of it. Most of them are reasonable. Okay. And the one that held down the value, I was like, you're factually incorrect. Like, Not even close. Factually incorrect. And I got into it with the AMC, and then we got it overturned. And I said, we do a lot of loans for our company through that. And then I go, it's just not right. It's not even close to being right. It's a square footage issue, 25% off. And you're using values that are, I mean, that doesn't matter. You're basing on 1,800, which should be 2,300.
So when you have an appraisal like that, you can contest the value, but you don't, it's tough to contest the value of an appraisal where everything that they used and everything they have is in line. Look, those aren't bad comps. They're not the comps I would have used, but they're not bad. It's really tough to contest that when there's nothing wrong with the comps you used other than they weren't the price that you wanted. But when you have something like that where they didn't measure, the drawings are incorrect, the information on it is incorrect, the value is incorrect, the things weren't added the way that they should have, you can contest those things because it's just an incorrect appraisal and should not be used to justify the value. But just because it didn't come out the way you want, but everything is correct on it, it's kind of tough to contest those.
Yeah, factual things are like square footage, there's stuff that you can come up with. I mean, I've had people, I put a new washer in. That's not going to help you.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had that one, but I'm talking about anytime I see it and they're factually incorrect, or I've had appraisals where they've used sale dates from a year ago. I'm like, so I'll fight all those. I have no problem with that, but so we don't really have, when I look at the appraisal and I look at the comps, I'm going to say, okay, that's good. We haven't really had a lot. Why I can remember the one, so it's rare, where it's just wrong. 100% wrong, not even close to being right. We'll fight that. And then in other areas of the country, we have had some where the values, because it's so rural, it's hard to do comps. But here we're not having that issue. I mean, Alabama, Tennessee, some of these places like that, it's super rural. You might have a nice neighborhood and everybody else it's not like it.
Yep.
And the demand is the same. So anything else?
Anybody else? Any other questions?
It doesn't matter so that's fine as long as that's the way it's supposed to be.
She asked it for people online. She said a VA borrower looking at a property on stilts on the river. So
I did a USDA loan on stilts in the Everglades with a manufactured home. I'm like, I don't know why you want to buy this, but it's all you. As long as it was a new manufacturer, it was crazy. It was a very unusual deal, but yes, you can do those as long as it's a built right.
As long as that's the way it's supposed to be and it's decoded and it's structurally sound. If it's
falling off the stilt, then that's a problem. But if it's, I've had some people like, I want to buy it. I'm like, what are you going to do with that?
Yep.
Burn it down? I don't know. But the only thing with USDA, I'll tell you, it's not as common. If you run into other properties, USDA is a strict, like, you can't have a secondary unit, like you can't have a second house or something like that. You got a shed, a farm, something not used, and it can't be income producing. So it isn't common here. But those are the only other things that I've come across lately because we're in rural areas. But I've had people, it's an old house, and it's a homing cabin. And it looked like you could touch it and fall down. I'm like, I didn't see this, and I don't even know why. They put the picture on Zillow. I'm like, what the? I don't know what you're doing there. I said, why don't you guys just, I don't know what to tell you. You can't be there. But I didn't tell them to burn down officially. So I haven't had as much. I mean, it's reasonable. Like they give the comp value 10, 15, whatever, and some of these pools are $100,000.
So we're talking about pool homes for the people online. Pool homes, are you seeing?
No.
They cannot give more than a certain amount of value for a pool. They have guidelines they have to follow. And they're going to look in the area. Your only bet for pool homes is to find other pool homes and show him other pool homes. So basically what I'll do is I will do the value the way that it should be. And then I'm going to show him other pool homes. Look, I know these aren't comps per se because size are a little bit off, but in this neighborhood, clear on the other side, this pool home sold for this much. This pool home sold for this much. This pool home sold for this much. The same exact homes without pools sold for 60,000 less. This one, 50,000 less. This one, 70,000 less. And I show that to him and I say, you can see that a pool home in this neighborhood is garnering $50,000, $60,000, which is why I'm using the pool homes for comparisons rather than the non-pool homes for comparisons. I know those are a better comp as far as the home itself, but they don't have a pool, you're only going to give $20,000 for that pool. I know you are, but I'm showing you that in this neighborhood, a pool is worth $50,000 to $70,000 to a buyer, and you have to hope he sees it your way.
Yeah, that's how I mean, this area, there's lots of pool homes, so it wouldn't be that, but it run into problems when you're out somewhere where there's not a lot of pool homes and you got a pool, like, he's out there wherever, and it's one house with a pool and nobody else has one. He's not going to get the 50 grand to you. He's going to give you 15, maybe 20 or something. But a lot of these pool homes now, they have outdoor kitchens. They got a screen. I always have a list of everything I spent, everything. And then they can knock through it, because then you say, hey, look, this is all the stuff that I've done. I got 100 grand here, and if you got 100 grand, you need to tell them you have 100 grand. It has to make sense. It's not saying that that's what's going to happen. It's just that you need to have some sort of, the more evidence you provide, the easier it is to make a case in any field.
You're never going to get 60 grand for a $60,000 pool. It's not going to happen. It just won't. You're not going to. For a pool that does not have a screened enclosure, an average size pool, you're probably going to get 10 to 15. For a pool with a screened enclosure, depending on the age of it, you'll probably get 15 to 25, age and size. For a pool home with a spa, you'll probably get 25 to 30 that's got a screened enclosure. For a pool home with a spa with an outdoor kitchen, that's a really good size, big screening area, lanai pavers and everything, you could probably get 30 to 40,000. And that's probably going to cap you out. That's about the most that I've seen somebody put on there for a somewhat normal home with a pool, was about 35 to 38 grand. But he gave the spa, the outdoor kitchen. They had another jut out on the side. They had all kinds of stuff that was on there, and it was $100 to $110,000, $120,000 outdoor area. And he really only got to about 35 to 40 grand. But that's all you're really going to get. So your job is to figure out how much more a pool home of that same kind of home or similar homes in the area, how much more did the pool homes sell for compared to the homes without the pools, and show him that on a separate spreadsheet. These homes, no pools. Same exact home with pools, 50 to 80,000 more. If you just give them 15,000 for this pool, you're going to be doing them a disservice. And it's not what the true value of this home is. I understand you can't give them that much, but I need you to see that here's the value from these homes in this perspective, and anything that you can do to consider and use these would definitely be more beneficial, because it's going to be more in line with the value of this home.
I would suggest, what we talked about earlier, is when you do your little search and the comp you provide, all the ones that don't have a pool, that's making it simple.
Well, hold on a sec. Well, let's continue that off that. There's just too much chatter for online. There's a lot of people online that can't hear, so let's chat after that. And it's getting pretty late, so we're going to sign off online. We'll sign off online. I get it, but there's too much out. There's too many people online that can't hear you. So to repeat all of it, and it's pretty specific. So let's chat about that afterwards. For those of you online, hope you guys have a happy Tuesday. Thursday in the Sun City office, we'll be having the onboarding reengage at 11 a.m. So please show up for that if you'd like to get back into the systems, processes, and tools. And please let us know if you need anything. We're always available. Thank you.